This is Pepsi. Take one.
Other companies are using AI to create their holiday ads because nothing says real magic like firing your entire marketing team for a 99-cent app. I missed the whole Pepsi. I missed.
Help her out.
I missed. We would never do that. We use our people. Don't touch me! We have some of the most creative people in the world. Do they get too caught up with the Kardashians? Maybe. Do they spend half their budget on gin? Who cares? They get the job done. There's nothing like the human touch. Watch this. Refill. The blue one. Try getting AI to do that. This holiday season, let's use real people, not AI. Isn't that right, Kevin? Now that's real magic.
I have always been obsessed with Ryan Reynolds' form of marketing, and I know I'm not the only one out there who feels the same. I'll never forget was a couple years ago when Peloton came out with this ad where it was about like a husband buying his wife a Peloton or something like that. And that video definitely didn't come across to the audience the way that I'm sure the Peloton marketing department hoped. And it instantly became a internet meme where it was like, save this woman, like, oh my gosh, her husband's forcing her to ride this Peloton and like she doesn't want to, or something like that.
You got the Peloton girl.
Yeah.
Like the next day to be in your ad.
Yeah, within a few hours. We got a hold of her. It was really difficult because nobody knew how to get a hold of her. Obviously, the people at Peloton didn't want us to get a hold of her. But we got a hold of her, and within 36 hours, we had shot, chopped, and put out this commercial.
It's just this funny, short, easy to shoot little bit. I've always loved the balance of quality and artistry and creativeness, but also speed. And every freelancer knows of that glorious little triangle: speed, quality, and price. And you can only pick 2 out of the 3 of what you're gonna produce. And in my opinion, Ryan Reynolds and his team seem to be the closest to kind of breaking that triangle and going, now we're gonna get as close to all 3 of those as we possibly can. And so last week I saw Coke release this ad that was 100% generative AI, and the internet instantly did what the internet does, and everyone starts sharing their opinions. Instantly kind of went viral, and this ad was just everywhere, at least on my feeds that I was seeing. And so I just happened to click on a YouTube video that was the ad because I think I wanted to show someone, and the top comment was, Pepsi, this is your time to make a funny response. And it just instantly clicked in my head, well, although I'm not currently hired by Pepsi, why can't I do it? And within like 30 minutes, I'm talking to Michelle, I'm texting my filmmaking friends, I'm just like, hey, tomorrow, can everyone just get together and us just make this Pepsi spec ad? And like, I just want to do this thing. And thankfully, everything started coming together fast. I DM'd this actress that I saw in a recent 48-hour film festival. My friends that I wanted as crew were able to come together and get the time off. And I was able to kind of finalize the script to the point where I was happy with the rough draft, but similar to how Ryan Reynolds, I'm sure, kind of does it, is you go in with this basic concept and idea, so you have something planned. But when it comes to comedy and these types of commercials, you can tell that there's some sort of like riffness and just improv.
Hi. Clearly, I am not Kendall Jenner. Production couldn't afford her, so you have the Temu version. That's me.
So I told everyone, the talent, the crew, like, hey, if you have any ideas that kind of follow along this rough outline of an idea, write them down, put them in your head, and let's just like get what we need and then just have fun with it.
Actually, no, line. I f***ed that up. Let me do it again.
Because when we're looking at the triangle of fast, cheap, and quality, I think the way to crack those 3 different points here is, one, I think the biggest thing is when it comes to quality is you have to take a look at what type of quality. Because let's take a look at 2 aviation gin commercials here. This one, which is talking about how aviation gin is made, the quality is in the fact that it's multiple locations, multiple days, huge production, just beautiful cinematography. That one clearly is quality much more expensive price-wise, and definitely not done super fast. Then you look at a lot of the aviation gin commercials, and it's this single set piece where it's just him standing behind a counter at like a bar type scene. And you can tell there's pretty much like 2 cameras, the main angle and then a side cam that he'll sometimes cut to. And that's the style that we kind of went with here. I wanted one setup that was staged as best as we could, set design as best as we could, lit as best as we could in a short amount of time, because I wanted the quality to come in form of the delivery, the comedy. And so if I had written out something that required multiple locations, multiple pieces of talent, that's where things become more expensive and take a lot more time in order to achieve the same quality. Obviously, when it comes to the price part of the model, here I had to be as efficient as possible. I obviously own a lot of lighting, camera gear, so all the gear was already mine. I used what I had, and I'm very lucky to be at this point in my career where I have a good amount of gear. And so the budget that we did have, we basically took to, of course, pay our talent and crew. Shout out to all my friends who came out and spent the time. So then we spent the rest of the money on the location, a nice looking Airbnb, and some props and just stuff to make it look a little Christmassy. And of course, crafty. You gotta have crafty. If you're gonna have any type of set, crafty is the most important thing. Feed your people. But I definitely could have put any dollars into this spec ad and this creative project without today's sponsor, and that is Motion Array. So Motion Array has everything you need in terms of assets. Motion Array is where you can get all of the sound effects, video templates, music, and in my case, some overlays. So throughout this commercial, I knew I wanted to match one of his aviation gin commercials that just has clearly like a snow overlay. So I was able to find snow on green screen and able to comp that in. All the music from this commercial was found in Artlist, which is Motion Array's, like, they're both same company, parent company setup. What's funny is my original ending for this commercial was going to be wildly different, and I'll tell you why we changed it in a minute. But my original concept to this commercial spec ad was going to be that just talking, kind of making fun of AI and how we use real people to make this commercial. And we obviously see a real female talking to camera, and then the very last couple of seconds, I wanted her to kind of glitch and either have her head or her eyes or something subtly reveal that this may be a robot of some sort. So the day before we shot, I went on Motion Array. I found all these different assets. There were some really cool kind of like humanoid skeletal type things that I thought about comping in that I just wanted to flash for a couple seconds. What I ultimately was going to land on is I found this really cool, like kind of futuristic looking glowing eye. And although this is a huge asset, we can scale this down and obviously duplicate it. And I was just going to have her eyes kind of like glitch and flicker with these blue, whatever, glowing eyes for a couple seconds right at the end to be like, wait, is it, what was that? A little bit of ironic humor to the commercial. And finding those assets was incredibly fast. For the speed of this production, I literally shot this thing, came home, edited it in the early morning. And a lot of people know finding assets can be one of the most annoying part of the process. But thanks to Motion Array, it just makes it incredibly easy to do. So the reason that original concept was scrapped was because I originally set up to where we were going to film between around like 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. We were going to get everything we needed. And then literally at like 10:15 or so, we were all kind of just on the fence of like, we like some of the stuff we got, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like, I was kind of getting nervous because like I knew this was gonna be the time where everyone should be leaving. And Michelle looked at me and at one point it was just like, we need to redo this whole thing. Cause like the concept was just not working. It was way too edgy for what we were trying to go for. It just wasn't working at all. So her and my other friend Joey, who are really good at writing in general, but especially they're both really funny and writing comedy. So they went on the couch for a few minutes, and about 10 or 15 minutes later, I'm like, you know, changing lights or changing batteries, whatever, kind of fully nervous if this thing is just gonna fall apart. And all of a sudden I kind of see in the corner of my eye, Michelle just like dying laughing, literally like fell off the couch, was just like crying laughing. I'm like, cool, we got a script. We're about to get something good. And so they kind of presented the new script to us. We all loved it. This idea that, hey, at Pepsi, we use real people. And so about halfway or 2/3 through the commercial, we kind of pull back with the camera to reveal that she's been using the actually director of the spec ad, Ian, as a table to put her feet up on this whole time. And she's kind of being rude to all the other people on set who's like giving her Pepsi, trying to do her hair or whatever. And so it's this idea that, yeah, we use real people. We may abuse them, but you know, at least we're not using AI and we're using real people. And so it's just this perfect kind of setup of a little spec ad that completely was totally different. Like we threw out everything and it kind of worked out because she actually like spilled like that spilling of the Pepsi on her shirt where you actually see that blooper in the final spec piece. That was actually the first attempt at this new script. So she had to change shirts, and this is kind of a good rule of thumb, buy multiple of the same outfit, because we actually had to change to a green shirt after that. And so it was kind of the universe being like, listen, everything you've shot the past couple hours is kind of useless. Maybe I'll include a couple of the funny bloopers at the end of this video, so stick around if you want to see kind of attempts at our first script. Ultimately, everyone had a blast filming this thing, and that is the most important thing, honestly, is keeping the vibes high on set. Anytime you go over on time or things can start to look frustrating, the most important thing on set is keeping the crew and talent's morale high. And so thankfully, even though we ended up shooting till like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, everyone had a blast. We were ultimately happy that we ended up reshooting and rewriting. And then, like I said, I went home, I started cutting. I passed out at like 3 a.m. or something, woke up early and just spent the morning editing into the final spec piece that you guys saw at the beginning of this video. Again, when I look at the triangle of what we had in terms of time, budget, and the quality we were going for, I'm so grateful for everyone that came together so fast to make this happen. And I'm really hoping you guys enjoyed at least the attempt, because I would love to make more content like this. Feel free to leave any feedback to the spec ad in the comments below, or let me know your favorite part of it. Again, huge shout out to Motion Array, who were the people that made this project possible. If you want to learn more about them or you haven't checked them out, definitely learn more in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Something like that.
Terrible.
Because Pepsi is for real people who don't need a computer to tell them what it tastes like to have fun. Get the mush mouth out. So, if you want real magic, why don't you take a look at your bank account? A lot of disappearing acts happening there.
Ooh. She's smoldering.
I'm smoldering.
She's smoldering.
I'm finding the
Everybody get
smolder.
fire extinguisher.
I'm finding it. Oh my god, that tastes like shit.